We think we know nature. The big predator eats the little prey. But the real danger isn't a quick hunt, it's a biological takeover. We're talking about creatures using chemistry and viruses to eliminate the free will of their victims. Here are 12 animals that can control other animals. Smash the like button, or these animals might end up running the show. Number 1. Zombie ant fungus. If you've seen this, you know why it's terrifying, but here's the detail they usually leave out. When a spore of this fungus, Ophiocordyceps for the nerds out there, lands on a carpenter ant, it doesn't waste time. It drills into the ant's body and the fungal threads, the mycelium, start to spread everywhere. Now, for the crazy part. When scientists studied this, they realized the fungus had infected every single part of the ant's body, except the brain. Wait, what? How is it controlling the ant then? It's even smarter than that. The fungus doesn't need to override the brain. It just needs to control the muscles and the nerves leading to them, like a literal biological remote control for the limbs. It steers the host, driving the confused ant out of the safe colony and up a tall blade of grass or a vine. Once it gets to the perfect height, it forces the ant's jaws to lock down in a fatal, permanent death grip. The ant literally clamps itself onto the plant, and that's it. Done. Why? Because the fungus needs to be high up so it can burst out of the ant's head a few days later, like a stalk of corn, and rain its spores down onto the forest floor to infect the next poor worker. It's ruthless, it's precise, and it completely bypasses the brain, which is the most terrifying part of all. Number 2. Horsehair worm. It's the ultimate alien chestburster moment, but with a tragic, waterlogged ending. Imagine this. A cricket is just going about its life when a microscopic hairworm larva hitches a ride inside. The worm feeds on the cricket's fat reserves, growing and growing until it's a fully mature adult, sometimes getting several meters long, all coiled up inside this little insect. Now the worm needs water to mate and reproduce. The cricket, however, is a land-loving insect. It avoids water like the plague. So the worm, which is now taking up most of the cricket's internal space, literally hotwires the cricket's nervous system. It starts sending signals that compel the cricket to search for and dive into the nearest body of water. A creek, a puddle, your neighbor's bird bath, doesn't matter. It's an involuntary, fatal swimming lesson. Once the host is fully submerged, the hairworm violently wriggles its way out of the cricket's body like a piece of spaghetti escaping a tiny, dried-up can. The newly emerged worm swims off to find a date, and the empty shell of the cricket just floats away. It forces its host to commit suicide just for a first date. That's a level of dating desperation I don't even want to think about. Number 3. Snail eye stalk fluke. This parasitic flatworm invades the eyes of certain snails, but instead of just making the snail blind, it physically transforms the snail's normally clear, translucent eye stalks into grotesque, yet strangely mesmerizing, pulsating tubes. These transformed stalks are brightly banded with colors: green, yellow, black, making them look exactly like a juicy, wiggly caterpillar. It's the ultimate visual bait, but the parasite knows a lure is useless if it's hiding in the shadows. So the fluke also compels the normally shy snail to move out of its hiding spots and into open, well-lit spaces. It forces the snail to wear neon lights and dance right in the middle of a hungry bird's pathway. The bird sees this throbbing, colorful thing, mistakes it for a caterpillar, plucks out the eye stalk, and eats the parasite to complete its life cycle. The snail, by the way, just grows back the eye stalks and goes on with its life. But for a few painful weeks, it was forced to be a walking billboard for its killer. Number 4. Toxoplasma gondii. Okay, get this. The Toxoplasma parasite can infect almost any warm-blooded creature, including humans. Seriously, maybe a third of the entire global human population has this thing. But here's its dirty little secret. It can only sexually reproduce in the gut of a cat. So if it ends up in an intermediate host, like a rat or a mouse, it needs a way to get eaten by a cat, and fast. The parasite has evolved to chemically alter the rodent's brain, specifically knocking out its innate, life-saving fear of felines. It's even worse than that. Some studies suggest the infected rodent doesn't just lose fear, it develops a kind of fatal indifference or even attraction to the smell of cat urine. The sensible mouse, which would normally avoid cat territory like the plague, becomes a thrill-seeking, brave, cat-loving zombie. It recklessly wanders near the predator, gets eaten, and bam, mission accomplished for the parasite. And here's the unsettling kicker. While the science is still out, some researchers have linked this parasite to subtle behavioral changes in humans, like increased risk-taking or aggression. So if you're suddenly thinking about quitting your job and skydiving tomorrow, maybe blame the parasite. It's definitely not a conclusion, a good sign. Number 5. Emerald cockroach wasp. Now this wasp, the emerald cockroach wasp or jewel wasp, is not about brute force. It's about surgical, cold-blooded precision. It doesn't want to fight, it wants a delivery service. The female wasp targets a cockroach, which, let's be honest, is a worthy target. Her hunting strategy is a two-step masterclass in neurotoxin application. First, she gives the roach a quick, temporary sting to the body to temporarily paralyze its front legs, stopping any escape attempt. The critical second step is what makes her a true villain. She delivers a precise second sting directly into the part of the cockroach's brain that controls the escape reflex. She doesn't paralyze the roach, she simply switches off its will to survive. The roach is now compliant and lethargic, but still totally mobile. The wasp then grabs the roach by its antennae and slowly leads the brainwashed insect, like an unwilling dog on a leash, back to her burrow. Once inside, the wasp lays an egg on the roach's abdomen, seals the burrow, and leaves her child with a massive live food supply. The larva that hatches will then chew its way in and consume the still living roach from the inside out. Talk about room service. Number 6. Orb weaver wasp larva. You know how some wasps force a host to commit suicide? Well, this wasp larva has a more sophisticated task. It needs its victim to do some heavy-duty home renovation. A tropical mother wasp lays an egg right onto the abdomen of an orb weaver spider. The larva feeds on the spider's body fluids for a week or two, slowly draining its life force. When the larva is ready to pupate and become a full wasp, it injects specialized chemicals into the spider's body. These compounds don't just kill the spider, they drastically rewrite the spider's innate building code. The spider abandons its normal, complex prey-catching web, the one it uses to get food, and instead constructs a completely new, reinforced, but useless structure. This new fortress web is characterized by super strong strands and specific decorations, engineered only to protect the larva's cocoon while it rests and transforms. Once this custom-built, specialized safe house is complete, the larva kills the spider, drains the remaining fluids, and enters its cocoon. The poor spider uses its dying moments and its most sophisticated skill, weaving, to build a perfect shelter for its eventual killer. That is some serious forced labor. Number 7. Ladybug bodyguard wasp. Alright, if you skip the intro, now you get the full story on the ladybug bodyguard wasp, because this is where the plot twists. This female wasp deposits a single egg into the abdomen of a ladybug. The larva grows up inside, and when it's ready, it emerges and spins a cocoon between the host's legs. Here's the crazy part. The ladybug is not killed. It remains alive but paralyzed and twitching, sitting right over the cocoon. If a predator comes along, the ladybug starts jerking and twitching violently, essentially aggressively defending the wasp cocoon with its own body. It has turned into a free, unwilling security guard, protecting the larval killer that just emerged from its guts. But the real shocker is how it happens. The wasp is actually working with a microscopic partner, the Dinocampus coccinelli paralysis virus, DCPV. The wasp carries this virus, and it explodes in the ladybug system right before the larva emerges. The virus then enters the ladybug's brain, performing the deep cognitive sabotage necessary to induce that aggressive guarding behavior. This wasp doesn't just do the job itself, it literally outsources the brainwashing to a microscopic viral ally. It's a toxic three-way partnership where the ladybug is the biggest loser. Number 8. The anglerfish. Okay, let's talk about the master of aggressive mimicry in the deep, dark sea, the anglerfish. This is control achieved not by injecting venom, but by lying with light. In the perpetually dark ocean depths, the anglerfish has a specialized fleshy growth, called the esca, on a spine extending right from its head. This growth acts like a fishing lure, and here's the key: it houses bioluminescent bacteria that cause it to glow brightly in the abyss. The anglerfish uses this light to manipulate smaller predatory fish by twitching the esca just so, making it resemble harmless prey, like a juicy little worm or an invertebrate. The unsuspecting fish, lured by the prospect of an effortless, easy meal, swim right up close to the light source to investigate. And what happens next? Snap! They are instantly consumed by the anglerfish's massive, waiting mouth. The anglerfish controls its prey's movement by exploiting their hunger instinct and using theatrical deception. It literally baits its dinner, using itself as the lure. That's biological information warfare, and it is brutally effective. Number 9. Cryptic cleaner fish blenny. This fish is a pure scam artist. In the ocean, there are good guys called cleaner wrasses. They run cleaning stations where much larger fish willingly wait in line to have the wrasses remove parasites and dead skin in a mutually beneficial arrangement. They are the trusted reef dentists. The cryptic cleaner, fish blenny, is the worst fake dentist ever. It perfectly mimics the harmless cleaner wrassa in size, color, and specific swimming pattern. By disguising itself as a trusted service provider, the blenny gains access to large, unsuspecting fish who would normally eat it immediately. The unsuspecting patient opens up its mouth, assuming the blenny is there to help. And then the blenny darts in, takes a quick, painful bite of tissue from the trusting host, and flees. The deception is so refined that scientists call it a facultative mimic. It quickly changes its color if the real cleaner wrassa model is removed from the area. Why? Because its strategy is entirely dependent on being mistaken for the trusted expert. It literally builds a successful predatory career on running a fake clinic and assaulting its trusting clientele. What a jerk. Number 10. Tree ocelot. Okay, here's proof that sometimes all you need to control someone is a convincing voice. We're talking about the tree ocelot, or margay, a type of wild cat that uses aggressive auditory mimicry to literally lure its dinner in. Researchers observed this sneaky feline imitating the specific distress call, the squeal of a baby-pied tamarin monkey. Now, why would a cat learn to sound like a distressed monkey baby? The purpose of this vocal impersonation was to exploit the strong parental instincts of adult monkeys feeding nearby, drawing them close enough for the ocelot to ensnare them. It's the ultimate psychological trick. The cat is saying, "Help, my baby is in danger," and the parental monkey instincts take over, overriding their natural caution. While the trick failed in the specific instance researchers saw, the adult monkeys realized the deception and raised the alarm. The cat clearly possesses the remarkable learned ability to manipulate the behavior of a completely different species purely through voice impersonation. It uses a fake cry of desperation to attract unsuspecting rescuers. It's like a predator that is also a master method actor. Number 11. Cuckoo bird. If the tree ocelot is a bad parent, the cuckoo bird is the ultimate deadbeat. This is control achieved through social exploitation, brood parasitism. The female cuckoo avoids all the hard work of nest building and child rearing by simply laying her eggs in the nests of other species, the host birds. And she's smart about it. The cuckoo carefully selects hosts and lays eggs that often closely match the host's own eggs in size, color, and pattern, ensuring they don't get tossed out. When the cuckoo chick hatches, it has one brutal built-in survival instinct. Within hours, it uses its rapid growth advantage to push the host's rightful eggs or chicks right out of the nest. This ruthless act ensures the cuckoo chick monopolizes all the food and all the care provided by the unsuspecting foster parents. These poor foster parents, usually tiny birds, then dedicate weeks of labor and resources to raising this massive, rapidly growing, ungrateful murderer, who was often much bigger than them. They are forced to raise the child that destroyed their entire biological family. It's an insane exploitation of hardwired parental instinct, and it's a total game of control. Number 12. Slave-making ants. To wrap this up, let's talk about a control system that has gone so far that the rulers have become useless. Say hello to the slave-making ants. These ant species in the Polyergus genus don't forage, they don't clean, and they don't tend to their young. All they do is raid the nests of related ant species to steal the developing pupae, the ant babies. The captured pupae hatch into adult workers who, having been born into the parasitic nest, imprint on the odor of the slave maker's colony. These newly hatched slaves then perform all the necessary labor for the conquerors, including foraging, nest maintenance, and caring for the slave maker's own offspring. The irony here is beautiful. The slave makers are so highly specialized in raiding that they have evolved into obligate parasites. They are entirely incapable of feeding themselves or tending to their own brood without the enslaved labor. They are the ultimate lazy rulers whose dominance is entirely contingent upon the continued servitude of a population capable of self-sufficiency. If the slaves stop working, the masters starve, and sometimes the enslaved ants actually rebel, killing the parasite brood to protect their genetic relatives in nearby colonies. It's a full-blown social system built on forced altruism that could collapse at any moment. Which one of these brainwashed victims made you question everything you knew about the circle of life? Let me know in the comments, and do like this video and subscribe for more.